What up, y'all? This is Mongo. All right, so let me get this out the way first. Let me be very clear. I am a huge fan of Bianca Belair. I think she's fantastic. I think she should have been the women's champion by now in NXT. I think she's going to be a superstar when she gets the hell out of NXT because she's going to really, really, really engage viewers on a national level, especially maybe even international. I do think that she's going to be a really big star, but I do not like her being introduced into this triple threat situation with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Um, there is one reason why. Typically, I hate triple threat matches. Triple threat matches to me are the promoters trying to make everyone happy in a situation where everyone doesn't need to be happy because nobody's going to be happy anyway. A triple threat match, specifically a WWE triple threat match, is almost always two people and then a third wheel dumped in that is then treated like the third wheel. They're constantly thrown outside of the ring. They disappear. These matches are almost always, well, some of them are pretty good. I mean, there are some good triple threat matches, but even when you do a quote unquote good triple threat match, it's probably always done better by it just being a one-on-one match. This is where you as a writer need to, utilize your editing. You know, I love Bianca Belair, but she just lost, and she lost clean. What right does she have to now be in this match? She doesn't have any right to be in this match. And it's not just her. Last year, Charlotte did not need to be in the Ronda Rousey Becky Lynch match. What right did she have to be in that match? She wasn't even on the brand. Why was she in that match? Okay. Another one, the Shawn Michaels Chris Benoit Triple H match. As lauded as that match is, why the fuck was Shawn Michaels in it? He had already lost. There was no reason for him to be in the match. And this is where we started getting the problems, right? Triple threat matches are because, well, we don't have anything for a very important person to do. In this case, Shawn Michaels or Bianca Belair or, somebody else. Or third, somebody needs to be in the match to take the pinfall. So, well, we're just going to throw this person in the match. They're not going to win. They're just in the match to take the pin. Third, it could be just to try to protect one of the other people that are in the match. So yes, sure, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, but it's not like you beat them one-on-one, you want a triple threat match, you know? But it kind of steals some of the big match feel. I've never had a big match feel for a triple threat match. I've never really saw a triple threat match and said, that would be awesome if it was a triple threat match. No. When you look at the biggest matches in wrestling history, they're all one-on-one. All of them. Those are the star-making performances, are the one-on-one matches. You know? You can have an important triple threat match. Your Batista, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan was an important triple threat match because, Daniel Bryan had to fight to get in it and all that stuff. But how about we could have did this completely different? It could have been done completely different. You could have had Batista, Russell, Randy Orton at a different event, one-on-one for the title. Batista wins the title. And now, you have the same scenario where Daniel Bryan has to beat Triple H in order to fight Batista for the title or something like that. Would have made more sense. Because then he would have had to beat Batista. Yeah, he beat Batista anyway, but it was in a triple threat match where essentially you had help in order to win. But in a scenario where there's a triple threat match, very, very rarely is it really needed. Most often, you don't need the third wheel, whoever the third wheel is. Sometimes the third wheel, the person who shouldn't even be in the match, ends up winning the match sometimes just to throw people off. One of these cases was the Rob Van Dam, Edge, and John Cena triple threat match, where Edge won the title right after RVD got busted smoking weed and with Sabu and all them. You know, Edge was just in that match. He really had no reason to be in it because it was John Cena's rematch, I think, from ECW One Night Stand. And in order to swerve the audience, they made it a triple threat match and put the title on Edge. Look, why couldn't Edge just beat Rob Van Dam for the title? You probably don't even remember that match happened because it was a nonsense throwaway triple threat match that happened on TV. Why couldn't Edge just pin Rob Van Dam in the match? Even though I think he pinned him anyway. But if he was going to pin him anyway, he could have pinned him in a one-on-one match. But to me, a triple threat match is at least it is asking the audience to keep track of another person who usually gets deleted out of the match for most of it. They don't need to be there. It's poor planning because now we have to we don't have to, sacrifice. We can cheat and just make everything a triple threat match. Therefore, oh yeah, we don't lose anything. But in reality, you lose a lot. Especially at WrestleMania, you don't need a triple threat match. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm against Fatal 4-Ways or not 6-man tags, but Armageddon Hell in a Cell matches or Elimination Chambers or something like that. You can have multiple people, but you need to have constant action, right? So you can have a Fatal 4-Way. Fatal 4-Ways are fine because you have two people fighting and then two people fighting another person. Two other people fighting. In a triple threat match, you usually almost have one person fighting and one person and the other person outside the ring. Or, you can't do a three-person tie-up. You can't do a three-person, you can do crazy spots, but you lose a lot with that odd number. So what am I saying? Should we add another person to make sure that the match is a Fatal 4-Way, and would that make me feel better? No, because to me, if you're going to tell the story of Charlotte coming back to NXT or Rhea Ripley stepping up to the plate, you don't want to mess with that by now adding a third party into it or any other party into it. Why can't it be just Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte? Of course, you created the problem anyway by giving Charlotte the number one contendership. It was already a problem. And now everybody's trying to edit their way around it. Instead of just saying, okay, look, sorry, we're going to send Bianca Belair to SmackDown or send her to Raw or something to get her out of this situation. But of course, then they brought back Naomi for SmackDown. So now that's sort of earmarked for Naomi. And Shayna Baszler's earmarked for Raw. You really don't have no choice. She doesn't have a secondary feud. There's nobody else for her to work with. Io Shirai is injured. Toni Storm is in England. There's nobody for Bianca Belair to work with. That's unfortunate. But I think that it's particularly lazy to continuously have triple threat matches. And I do think that they do devalue the big match potential of a lot of these title matches when you can just have a simple one-on-one match between two guys or two women who are top stars, who matter, whose storyline matters, whose storyline is important, and one person beats another. As opposed to, well, she won the match, but there was a bunch of other people in the match too, and the obvious, I hit you with my finish, and then I throw you outside. I get thrown outside the ring, and the other person pins them. I think this was the finish to this is the finish to almost every triple threat match in WWE, but it's the finish to the Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, Piper Niven triple threat match. Which I always say, why was Toni Storm in that match? Why couldn't it have been Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray one-on-one? Especially if Piper Niven was going to take the pinfall. To me, it doesn't make sense to continuously do triple threat matches. I do think they are overused. I think they've become a crutch especially for the company who doesn't want to just have one person fight one person and risk upsetting certain segments of the audience. So what? If they're upset that Bianca Belair isn't getting a title shot, so what? She already had her shot. She's had multiple shots. She lost. Okay? So, what do you guys think?